interactive session to demonstrate the advantages and positive impact of experiential learning. Dr. Vishwas is a seasoned experiential educator and facilitator with over 32 years of expertise in experiential and outdoor education, complemented by 12 years in corporate roles across sales and marketing. His work focuses on senior leadership development, team building, conflict resolution, and peace building initiatives with global experience spanning around North America, Europe, the Middle East, Africa, and Asia. He has collaborated with organizations like Play for Peace and led training programs such as Diploma in Experiential Education and Practice, also known as DEEP. Dr. Parchure is a recipient of Marina Award and Kurt Hahn Award from the Association for Experiential Education for his contributions to the field. His clients include prominent companies across IT, finance, and engineering, reflecting his vast professional impact. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Vishwas Parchure.
Not a doctor. I'm a struggler. I was a struggler in school, barely passed. Enjoyed my school and college. And yeah, so this doctor thing scares me. Right, so raise your hand if you're a teacher. Yeah, don't give me that I'm a teacher wherever I go. Raise your hand if you're a teacher in the classroom. Okay, I'm just going to let that one go. Stand up if you're a parent. If you feel you're a parent to your dog, that's fine too. Oh, right, okay. Okay, stand up if you're a teacher. So we're going to cumulative this, right? If you are a teacher, you're a parent, you're a teacher, right? Who are the rest of you? Huh? Okay, if you're a 2B teacher, stand up. Okay, stand up if you have educated anyone or anything. Okay, now. That's the whole idea. And the rest of you, whoever, if you are a human being, stand up. Okay. So, you've had a long day. What's it been like? Very quickly, just throw words for me, right? What's it been like to be a student for the past so many hours? Sleepy. I'm just going to pick the good words, right? Sleepy. Jargon. Invigorating.
Confused.
Lost.
Confused.
Boring. Tired. No,
Tired.
Right? So this is what it feels like to be a student, and sometimes it's really hard. So we need to do something to bring some of that energy back. It's a very simple thing. Do this. If you hit somebody, just move a little. Just make a little space. Do this. Yeah, and this is how it goes. I'm alive. Alert. Awake. Enthusiastic. Together. Alive. Alert. Awake. Enthusiastic. Alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. We're going to go faster. And those, try not to hit anybody because you might. We will just wake them up. Okay? Ready to go a little faster?
Yes.
Alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. Alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. Alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. Alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. Great. Thank you. Now you have no choice. Great. So, for me, it's been a wonderful day because I think we all pick up what we want to pick up, and we choose what we're going to take away. And I'm taking away a few things, especially around the idea of UDL. Just remind me what it stands for again. See, that's my disability. I remember abbreviations. I remember 3 letters, but I don't know what half of it feels like, right? So, raise your hand if you know you have a disability. Wow. I'm going to prove to you that... Okay, wait. Keep your hands up. Look around. Look at the number of hands up. Okay? I'm going to show you that you do have a disability. And I think one of the biggest struggles is accepting that we actually have a disability. Great. Having said that, and told you what wonderful people you are, I'm just going to launch into this. First of all, I'm going to, I like to use cartoons that I think are relevant. And relevance can be either in the context of what I'm trying to say or the complete opposite. Yeah? Whichever way, have fun with it, so I'll give you time to read. I'm just going to throw a few thoughts at you. Now, normally question and answers are usually done in the end, but it's open to comment on as we go along. So if you have something to say, just raise your hand. Just remember, I will not challenge what you're saying. Is that clear? Yeah, is it this? Do you believe you know what you're doing? Right. And just deal with that question for I mean, we think we know what we're doing, but do we really know what we're doing? Anybody can claim that you know what you're doing. Look around. Right? And an important truth, right? Because if we said we know what you're doing, then somebody's going to stand up and say, really? Okay. Right, so anytime, I'm just going to go back for a second. Oh, oops. This guy, is there a way to go back? Yeah. If any of these strike a chord with you, just raise your hand. You're going to do a lot of hand raising. That's the idea. So if one hand gets tired, you can start with the other, and then you can do it. Yeah? So this is true for every comment that's going to come on screen. You have the freedom to laugh. Raise your hand if you think this is true. Only 2 hands, really? So you sound like you know what you're doing. Yeah? A lot of us believe that what we teach is what they learn, but what we teach and what they learn is actually different. And we don't know what they've learned. And what's the way we try and find out? Exams. Anybody, please, you have the freedom to challenge it, question it, throw it back at me and say to hell with you. Cool with it. Otherwise, yeah.
I think there might be something in that. I think there might be some truth in that. But there's a difference between something becoming redundant and something stopping.
Yeah.
So we may continue with the teaching profession even though it's redundant.
Yes, and we probably will, because what's this room full of people going to do?
Yes, exactly.
Right.
So they'll continue doing it. Sorry, yes. We as teachers will continue teaching even though there may be other routes into learning.
Right. So the intention is to hit you with something and then get you to consider if it's going to be redundant, then what does it mean for us in the future? Is there another way of looking at what we do? I think my electrical energy. Oh, it always gives up on me. Okay. So, just for your information, besides all the stuff that was said about me, I have been in classrooms. I have taught. I'm not just a consultant. I am now, but it's like when I was doing teacher training about 15, 20 years ago, a lot of teachers would come back to me and say, you're a consultant, you don't know what it's like to teach 40 children and deal with that, and to go from classroom to classroom each time, it's like the Pavlov thing, right? The bell rings and we go. And so I said, wow, is that really true? And is the methodology I'm talking about possible, not possible? So I went back to the classroom. And a lot of what I'm saying now is a little harsh, a little kind of straightforward. But the intention is to say that, that I think this gang needs to change. The way we do things, the way we think about things needs to change, and that's the only thing that's going to make a difference. So if we don't do something for ourselves, and that's what, for me, this hour is about, is to bring an awareness of the fact that we're the ones who can change things. We're the only ones who can change things. Systems are not going to change. So don't blame a system. But when you walk into a classroom, you are the system. You are the relationship. You are the connect. That's the only person that the student sees. Right? And this is, so my context isn't just classroom and teaching in schools. Oh, by the way, one of my disabilities is that I know very little about learning disabilities. Okay, so I'm coming clean here and saying, and then we had a chat, and I said, look, I don't know anything about learning disability. I haven't been, I've worked with children with other special needs, and in the outdoors, but not in a classroom. And I know I teach 30 adults every year with learning difficulties. All the teachers who come to my classroom are challenged. They don't want to read. They don't want to write. They don't want to journal. They won't do their homework. Oh, some of them are here, by the way. Just raise your hand. Right. They don't want to do. Now, they don't want to write, read, journal. What else is it you don't want to do? Think. You don't want to think. And see, what's the difference now? Only, I think we've made something out of something, and we're trying to do. I must say, I learned a new thing today. ODD. Oh, good. I'm so glad. I know. Oh, I think I know. See, my dear, oppositional defiant disorder. Now, from the descriptions that I heard, my students are exactly that. And I'll guarantee you that if you went to a classroom, you'd be that. You're defiant, right? You bring your rebellion into the classroom in a particular way, and somehow the methodology that I teach is about that. It's about what do you do with children who are different. And I was looking at the etymology of some of these words, and it quite surprised me, but this is, that was, out of syllabus kind of stuff for today's session. But let's just get on with this. Oh, so easy. Yeah. Any comments on this second one statement? True. So if you want them to learn something, can we give them something that they're interested in? Right? Okay. So since this is about experiential learning, I'm just going to throw a few slides around that, and then we're going to do something. This is the Gyan piece, right? 3 slides. Don't go to sleep. If you have a question, you have a comment, feel free to raise your hand, yeah? That's when I know I need to change the slide. When you get it. And this is what children really do, right? Any student, and I'm going to just say, you're the children in my classroom right now, and this is exactly what you're doing. You're going to pick up whatever you want that's relevant to you. And if I can't build relevance, then I have missed it. Then you're not going to pick up much. Fairly simple. Actually, I would change this now, and I'd probably say accompanied by processing for meaning, commonality, and future use. Because differences exist, we know that. Differences divide. Commonalities build community. So, just I think one of the tragedies of the schooling system is that we've taken away the adventure from it. So anything that we teach has only one answer, by and large, and we're thinking for them. So now the lesson that we learn in school is don't take risks, don't write your own answer. Write the teacher's answer. Am I being too critical? Is there some truth in what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay. Just checking because, you know, you can lose it after a while. I think we all understand that there is content to be delivered. There's a concept that the content tries to deliver. And I think we really forget the third piece, which is context. And if we can't build the context, then the concept and content are pretty meaningless. And that's why we forget what that a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. Is that what?
You know it, you just mix it up.
Oh, no, seriously. I told you, I got to learn English. How many of you know why you learn this? How many of you know why you learn algebra at all?
I have asked that question all.
Sorry?
I've always asked that question.
Right? Yeah, and that's where I think we miss it. So why do we learn spelling? Let's take it home, right? Why do we learn spelling? Spelling? That would be to communicate. Can I communicate? Okay, so I could write a particular word with a different spelling, and you may not understand it, right? If I spoke it, great. So we don't really need to know spellings the way we've been taught English language. You guys did a great job.
One of the reasons we learn spelling
Yes, good.
is we should isolate the ability to spell from the ability to read. So if we want to read, then the ability to spell is kind of crucial to the ability to read.
Because now you're making sense from what you...
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay,
That's
great.
recognition
Yeah, and then the connections in the brain and so on and so forth. Okay, great. But there's a whole lot of stuff. And I think my question is, do we ever talk about this to the children? Do we ever tell them that this is why spelling is important? Do we get it from them, or do we tell them? It's so easy to make this statement and say spelling is important because you need to be able to recognize when you read. Great. Give them something that's really complex, that's in maybe Welsh. And I wonder, it's English, right? It's the English alphabet, but it's a different language. Oops. Here's that big piece, relationships. So a lot of times I ask people, what do you remember about school? And in fact, there was a Marathi serial on that. I forget what it was called. They got these celebrities to go back to their school. No? Nobody's watched it? Really? Huh? Something like that. But there was a Marathi serial where they got celebrities to go back to their schools.
Madli Sutti.
Madli Sutti. And they were asked questions. And by and large, what emerged was, त्या झाडाखाली आम्ही बसून गप्पा मारायचो. Right. All that Gondhar business. That's it, right? And maybe schooling is meant for that. So I went through a cycle, and I think I'm still on that cycle in which I'm saying, God, why do we have schools? And I think it's essentially for this, to build relationships, build context of self to others and everything that's going on in our lives. And that's the only reason. I have two sons, both of them passed by mistake. I think they really enjoyed their school because we never asked them, how many marks did you get? And they're doing fine. They're really doing fine. And I wonder if, and some of the relationships have gone on from class 1 all the way till now. Most of them are married, and they still stay in touch. And think, wow, that's magical, because how many friends can you say you have for more than 2/3 of your age, whatever that might be? You find that there might be just a handful. But in the context of the classroom, can we build relationships first? Because that then becomes the context for everything else. Because we know that if the students like you, they're likely to listen to what you're saying. Yeah? Okay, so just what I think I'm going to tweak this whole thing a little and say that what I've realized is the biggest thing in the life of an educator is to recognize who you are, what you do, and how you do it. Because the moment you walk into the classroom, you have changed the environment. You affected everybody in that room, just as I have when I started. I've affected every one of you. Your life will never be the same. That's a kind of pompous thing to say, right? But I mean, what I'm essentially saying is, you may or may not remember me. You may or may not remember any of what happened today. But while you are there and I'm here, something is happening. And that is inevitable. And the only important thing at this point in time is what you are sensing about me and how I go about this business of sharing with you what I have learned. And I don't think we give ourselves enough importance. So we go and we think that our job is to finish content. What's it called? A worksheet, right? Finish the worksheet. Somehow they're like, oh, 40 minutes. Raise your hand if somebody in your life told you this. Look around. Look around. 2 hands up. Okay, great. So what are we trying to fix? I'm just going to leave you with that question. Yeah? I'm going to take you to a different place at this point in time, because I think how we think about what we do is eventually going to influence how we do things and what we do. Yeah? Okay. Any comments, questions? Feel free. Anything you have to say or ask? Yeah.
Just before this, you had said that for educator, who you are, what you do, and how you do.
Yeah.
But isn't the why?
Nah, forget it. Why? Okay, why am I being...
Not
Yeah, why are you doing this? Why are you teachers? Why are you educators? Why are you parents? Do you really have a good reason? What's your good reason? Let me just change that. What's your good reason? Yeah, give me. Yeah, what's your good reason? Okay?
I love working with children.
That's all. That's all that matters. If you love working with children and you stop going to that place where you're saying they must become like me or pass exams, then you will be who you are being. Then whatever that thing called love is, will be in the air. Does that make sense? Anything else? Yeah.
Yeah, a tad slower on the long reading slides. I read a little slow.
Great. I'm going to send you the PDF anyway.
Thank you.
I was given only
I
1
feel
hour.
like I'm missing out on the
Okay.
jokes because I haven't completed
Shall we go
the
back
reading
to?
piece.
I'm okay
Not
with that.
right now, but in the for the rest
From
of
here
it.
on?
Thank you. Yes.
Right.
From
So
here on.
when you're done, just raise your hand.
I will do that.
Okay. What do you see?
Someone who had fun.
Sorry?
Someone who had fun.
Someone who had fun. Do those expressions look like somebody's having fun?
He's now having to explain the fun, so he's
The fun is gone? Oh, fun is over. Right? Trauma. Right. Yeah? Familiar? Yeah? Every day? You know what I'm talking about, right? It could be your children, it could be your neighbor's children, they come muddy into the house, something's going to happen. Huh? It could... Which one is you? Right? So somebody is doing it to you, you're doing it to somebody else. Great. Why? Why?
That's what is experiential learning. Learning through experience.
Can I bully you a little?
Sure.
Okay. What is experiential and what is learning in this?
Both ways.
Yeah.
We are trained to be clean and tidy, and if we see that something is not there, so we try to change it.
Right. So in this scenario, who's trying to change what?
So I guess the mother is trying to means she wants the child, because she's trained that everything should be clean, and the child is not clean, so she's trying to.
Wonderful. Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, so child will learn that if I come do this every day, then I'm going to get severe punishments every day. So maybe I should stop with this, reduce this habit.
Really? That's what you
That
learned?
is the experience. I mean, experience. Through experience, he will.
What do you think is
understand
going to
the
happen tomorrow?
things. Tomorrow maybe he will get somebody. The mother will.
Oh, you're a hopeful mother. Never. You tell them yes, wonderful. Same thing's going to happen tomorrow. You tell them no, don't. It's going to happen, right? Wonderful. Do we want that kid to learn anything at all? What? What's the good lesson? To clean up, huh? To clean up? Oh. You've already decided something. He's messy. And therefore needs to clean up. Clean up himself. Okay, what else?
Learn to accept messy.
Learn to accept messy. Oh, he's got no problem.
What is the problem? Mother has problem.
Mother has a problem. What's the problem? Thank you. What's the problem?
The mother has already framed them that this should be the rules and that has to be continued, whether
Right.
the child likes it or not.
Right. Okay. So there's an idea that the house needs to be clean. Right? And this is what?
Not acceptable.
This is not clean. Now, take a minute. Think about all the and if you, those of you who are good students, see, I'm already judging you, right? If you are one of those note-taking, thinking, reflecting, journaling type persons, do it. Others, you can do it or not, doesn't matter, but this is what I want you to do. Just a minute. What are the things in your life that are like this? That the house should be clean? Add some, just as examples, just in case you have not understood what I'm saying. What are the other things in your head that should be a particular way? You got it?
Yes.
Take a minute, write them down. Yeah, and you know what? Nobody is going to read this except you. Just be as honest as you can. You want to do this? That's fine too. Don't show it to anybody. Okay, so here's another way of looking at it if you're struggling with it. Your sentence starts with, in a perfect world, whatever. A house is clean, whatever.
This is a very key comment. The only thing that prevents it from being was the order of the house. The only thing that prevents it from being and so the mess was worse than mess. It was an existential crisis, if that makes sense.
Right. Thank you. Okay, if you've got at least one, raise your hand.
I couldn't stand it. I had to repaint the walls.
At least one. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we're getting there. Great. Okay. So now I'm going to qualify this. Yeah? And I'm using the word perfection. In a perfect world, my kids don't walk in like that. In a perfect world, I have everybody listening to me. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So now, that dirty kid, my own dirty kid in my house on the mat, is the idea right or wrong? Are you confused? Good, just checking. You don't want to say it?
Wrong.
Wrong. Right? Wrong, right? Wrong. Sorry. Okay. Now I pass a judgment about my kid, never listens to me. He is ODD. Yep. Once I've done that, it's over. I'm going to suffer, and that kid's going to suffer because of me. Because now I'm going to tell him what to do, how to do it, get it done. And then we use this interesting method of reward and punishment. And any form of reward and punishment is the result of what? Somebody trying to control somebody else. Have you encountered a school that does not have rewards and punishment? No? Have you encountered a school that does not have rewards and punishment? Okay, I'll add more. Yeah.
I wanted to share what you were just saying about the reward and punishment.
Yeah, please.
In my previous school, we had the Montessori setting. In that, we were not allowed to praise the child because we wanted the child to learn for himself, not for the praise. So when he did something, we just used to say, okay, you can go and keep your book in your cupboard. We never said whether what he did was correct or wrong. I mean, if it was wrong by any chance, we used to say, just can you go and check again? So we didn't believe in reward and punishment in the Montessori setting.
Great. And then what happened?
The kids were learning. Actually, they were learning for themselves, not
Right.
for a star or a reward
That's
or a
it.
praise from the teacher.
Right? So, the consequence of rewarding or punishment is either getting them to what?
Done.
Do it again
Comply.
because you want it, or learning to avoid it. Yeah? Yeah, and that's the tragedy of the Montessori system, right? That hardly any schools pick up the spirit of it, and then we lose it. And now, I've talked to, okay, I grew up in a school that had no reward, no punishment, no humiliation, no competition. I was really lucky. And now I'm talking all that nonsense. No other school believes it. I had a very privileged education, I believe I am. Yeah. It's a school called Rishi Valley. Yeah.
I'm just thinking out loud.
Yeah.
You come from a system that you mentioned, which for a lot of us is a utopian idea, to the real world, where there
Real
is
world.
everything else that we are trying to avoid in
That wasn't real?
No, when I say
Okay,
real
both
world,
worlds are real.
right? Yeah.
Let's not argue about it. Yeah, correct.
To a world where there is the idea of a right and a wrong, the idea of obedience and compliance with a
Yeah.
normative practice, the idea of judgment,
Yeah.
the idea of being accepted into a college university job based on
Yeah.
a merit system, etc.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying there won't be place for the alternates, but then they are still the alternates. They're not the norms.
Okay, can I change that?
Yes, please.
Can you be? Do you reward and punish? You don't have to answer the question.
Rhetorical.
But in your head, do you find yourself rewarding and punishing?
Even ourselves.
Yes.
Okay. Why? Motivation. How? You're rewarding and yeah. You know what the thing about rewarding is, right? Today you give me one chocolate. What's going to happen tomorrow?
I want more.
इतने में कितना मिलता है? That's the question we begin to ask. Right? So now are you going to give me more rewards? Your pocket's going to be empty after a while, right? Yeah.
I think there's also an issue of we use words like reward and punishment, and we all do it. Every single one of us does it. But these words are actually quite slimy words. They're often difficult to pin down. So, for instance, if I meet you and I don't like you because you're wearing a green shirt with playing card things are beautiful. Because you're wearing a shirt that I don't like. Sorry. So if I meet you and I just take an arbitrary dislike to you for no reason at all, I don't like your shirt, something like that, then I'll behave towards you differently. Now, in a way, that's on this kind of slidey, vague, amorphous scale of punishment. Because I now behave towards you, I don't give you the treats, I don't give you the smiles, I don't invite you in to the things that I want to do, simply because maybe I was in a bad mood, I didn't have breakfast this morning or something. And so the rewards and the punishments, we often talk about them as though we do things to people, and this is a punishment. We do things to people and this is a reward. But of course, what often goes on is that
simply the way that we relate to people is more negative or more positive or more damaging or less damaging. And it's almost impossible to pin down the reasons for that because they're so complex and they're so, if you like, they're so tacit, I think. I mean, I don't know whether that chimes with you or whether you disagree with it, but it's just throwing it at you, as it were.
I've got it, but I'm going to just hold back because I've got to finish my content. Oh! Can you hurry up, please? Take to the last line on this. Okay. Right. You're going to do an activity now. You've got a piece of paper. Are you ready? Pick up a crayon or whatever it is that you want to draw with. If there's anybody who doesn't have paper, just ask for it. I believe you have. Yeah? You know the person on your left? Right. This is what you're going to do. When I say go, you're going to start drawing. You've probably done this before. You're going to start drawing. Wait, not yet, hold on. When I say go, you're going to start drawing. When I say pass, you're going to stop your drawing and send it off to the person on your left.
Okay.
You ready? What are we drawing? I have no idea. Go! Pass. Pass. Pass.
And continue, yeah?
Okay, fine, ready? Pass. Pass. I don't know if you do know which one. Pass. Pass. Brilliant. Look at the drawing. I hope you remember where you started and look at what people have done to it. That's the question for you on the board. What did the experience do for you? What does it feel like to see what you've got back? Okay. Now, just think of this. Now, let's just bring context, right? We just did an activity. You had an idea, you decided to draw it in whatever form, color you wanted. What's that drawing? Now we're building context. So the activity is done. What's that drawing? Who is, okay, let me change my question. Who is that drawing? Who is that drawing?
6 lines.
6 minds? I don't know about together. You didn't get a chance to talk to each other and decide what it was. I didn't give you enough time for that. You just had to pick up on whatever came to you and give it as much meaning as you could.
Like
right?
This is like
now, what do you think that drawing is feeling?
So like a student.
Huh?
This drawing is like a student.
It's like a student.
Yeah. So we all.
It's the one of the kids in your classroom. They come to you and then they go around, and you can either look at it as a day in the life of a child, or you can look at it as the life from class 1 or whatever till they finish their education, in fact, the rest of life. And pretty much there is a desired picture, an idea of perfection. Your perfect drawing would have had what? You don't have to tell me, just think of it, because you had it. When you started your drawing, you had a picture in your head, yes? Most people do. But if you didn't, that's fine too. You remember that picture? Now compare it to what you got back. Yeah? So this idea of perfection is kind of painful because that's the end of it. Anger, frustration. Because, so here's the alternative. I could at this point ask you all to have a conversation at the table and say with each other and say, what was the picture in your head? And could I have helped you? So because I did it the way it was done, and that's what classrooms pretty much feel like, we have no opportunity or time, or we don't create the time to have these conversations. We don't create the time to build relationships. We just go from classroom to classroom. So the idea of a perfect classroom is one that all children pass. If I knew what your picture was, I might be able to accept something. I think somewhere can we get our classrooms to feel that way. And therefore, instead of telling constantly, is it possible to create an environment in which we ask? So I went to teach geography, 7th grade, and threw away the textbook. And I said, whenever I walk into this classroom, it means in your head it must go geography. Great, okay. That's the only boundary. Then the question is, what do you want to learn? And through the year, it was all about them choosing to learn what they wanted to in the context of geography. And when I say dumbing down, the syllabus is what we do is pretty much dumbing down. If you allowed them to discover, and 7th grade discovered 11th grade geography as they went along, because they chose to do it in a particular way. So when I moved from, when people said, you're a consultant, and I became a teacher and I took that methodology, not many schools would have it, even today. They don't want somebody who upsets the system, but they've always been kind people who opened doors and said, okay, do your experiment. And it worked out really well. And I do believe that the experiential methodology works where you begin with the idea of exploration, discovery, curiosity, rather than one right answer. Yeah? Okay. I wanted to share a lot with you, but I've run out of time. Thank you. So last piece. Can we do an activity?
Yes.
Yes, please.
So what you're describing right now is really what UDL is about.
See? But we just come from different places. And we're using, I think, different terminology, which is why the UDL idea excited me. And this is just a different methodology and way of thinking and doing things, yeah. Thank you. Okay, you ready? There's a string on your table. Yeah? Okay. Can I have this string? Oh, I think I'll use it. Okay, I'll use this. String. Everybody knows the pajama knot. You know what the pajama knot is? Right? You know this. It's called the overhand knot or the thumb knot or whatever. You know the knot? Raise your hand if you don't. Okay. Pajama knot? Pajamas? Yeah, we used to have nadas then. Okay, this. This, that's it. Take this over that. Yep. And then goes through this. Yeah? Yeah? Yep, that's it, that's it, that's it. The simplest, apparently the simplest knot in the whole world. You want help? Oh, I'm going to tell you. You know the knot? Yeah? Easy? Akka? Sure? Easy? Everybody can do it? Wonderful. Now, can I demonstrate with this group? Come on. Hold. One hand. One hand. Oh, you can take this out, right? Okay, we can do a complicated thing. Okay, one hand. Okay, I believe you're required to go on stage. Go on. Okay. Your chosen hand, one hand. Yeah? Hold it like this. I believe there's a thing called Fevikwik. Yeah? Now you're Fevikwiked to that string. Now make the knot. Don't laugh at them, get up, do it. You got a string on your table, do it.
So the fish has to
Look like this is what really difficult for me. See, there's always a teacher who will come and tell you how to do it. Yeah? Can I give you one end of the rope? Yeah, okay. I want to see at the end of it. I want to see this.
Yes. Where is the knot? Where is the knot?
Show me this.
It's not going to be easy.
You got this.
Okay.
Simple. I know. Come on. What did I show you?
You're using both hands. You can't be using one hand.
Okay, you got only 3 more minutes. Okay, you got 2 more minutes.
Dr. Vishwas. Dr. Vishwas. You have to make a You're not with that. She said it's okay. Okay. That's it. So this is the knot. Would like to see her. This is the knot. No. Where is the knot?
This is pajamas, this thing there.
So these are the two ends. He's likely to make it all.
I want to see this. Right now, okay, thank you. I'll show you this. Oh, counting is a struggle here. Can we? Okay, it's just visuals, it's a few lines of text. And I would feel like I didn't complete my worksheet if I didn't. But I think you got the message, right? Till now? That we need to do something. That everybody, what did I tell you I was going to prove to you? That everybody in this room has a disability. Prove it? Brilliant. And what's a disability? You don't know how to make a knot. Okay, right. So, and this is in the context of parenting, teaching, any interaction with anybody in your life, the next conversation you have. Yeah? Something to think about. And let me know when you have read it. Yeah? Okay. Yeah. So the text in italics is what people have said, and that's how they describe it.
Vishwas, go back.
Back. Those of you who are interested, I'm going to make this available anyway as a PDF. So. Okay? This is a really hard one, right? And we have these words called lies, cheating. And in my head, they're the baddest words in the whole world. Okay? Yep. Walking into a classroom is a really important conversation. So, just remembering this. Right. Thank you for catching it. It sounds like an anomaly. And the point is that when I want to bring about change and I walk in with the intention of that and I feel a certain thing about it, I can feel as much as I want, but the only urgency that they will feel is the urgency of change. But that feeling, me wanting to change somebody else, nothing is going to really. So that's the eventual piece. Okay? So the context here is a thing called the ladder of inference, about how we see something or hear something and we very quickly climb up that ladder because we choose some word, some action, something, we choose data. Right? Then we interpret that data, give it meaning, we make some assumptions, and then we connect it to our belief system and value system, and then it emerges in our behavior. And this happens really quickly. So the context here is, slow down that process. Otherwise we're going to be reactive all the time, and that's what we generally do. And we're designed to interpret. We're interpretation machines. I think we need to slow that down. Oh, sorry. Wait. Yeah. I think this is one of the, the hardest parts. How do I leave my agenda at the door? My kids come in dirty clothes, he's going to mess up the house. It means a 5-hour job, clean-up job. My agenda has already become cleaning up. And I see the pain of it. I forget to see the joy of it. And the only thing I'm aware of, okay, just a quick question. Those of you who are parents, you see your child with untied shoelaces flopping around. What do? Tie them up? Yeah? Any other options? Tuck them in? Right? Now, really, except tying them up with the shoelace, you've done everything.
Change
Velcro shoes, yeah, nice. But they've already, you made the mistake of getting shoelaces.
Teach them.
Right? Why do you tie their shoelaces?
So
that they don't fall. Raise your hand if you've fallen. Look around. Yeah. Okay? Now, half the truth. I've never fallen, but somebody has told me that if you don't tie your shoelaces, you're going to trip on your laces and fall. Is that really you think that's the reason? Come on, let's just be really honest right now. Why do you tie their shoelace?
Because it looks tidy.
Oh, okay, great. Your problem, right?
I've let them chip also.
Oh, wonderful. And then? Yeah. What else?
And somebody else
Because?
stepped on it.
Right. So it's always my reason. Somebody else's shoelaces, my reason.
OCD.
Huh?
The parents and teachers have
Anxiety. Yeah. What happens if this kid doesn't pass my subject? My reputation is at stake. Now here we get caught in avoiding, we don't want the pain, therefore we go and tie the shoelace. It has nothing to do with the child at all. We think it does. It's just a thought. The most rebellious kid in your life has a story. Until we know that story and we can ask questions to find out what that story is, we're just going to get rebellion and see it as rebellion. Maybe there's another way to look at it. One of the most beautiful statements I heard in the context of praise and reward and punishment. Praise ends conversations. Imagine you were praised. What are you going to say? Oh, you're such a wonderful person. Conversation over. Try this. Seriously try this. Experiment, social experiment. Praise the hell out of somebody one day. And see what happens. Praise ends conversations. Noticing begins conversations. Noticing starts them. No, because you're not noticing is just noticing, stating observations.
You're not communicating?
You are. So noticing would sound like you're also putting yourself into that. So I like the way you drew that hand. I like the way. It doesn't mean it's a good hand. And I'm not saying you're a great artist.
So it's specific.
Yeah, it's specific. You're right. Right? None of this is going to come alive till you practice this. Thank you very much.
Dr. Parchure, for sharing your insight with us. Your talk on experiences and how the way we see and do things shapes us was truly thought-provoking. You highlighted the essential role of relationships, something that school plays a crucial part in fostering. Throughout your activity, you beautifully demonstrated how a desired picture doesn't always go as expected and how the idea of perfection can be painful. Your discussion on how this leads to defining right and wrong, making judgments, and becoming unwilling to take risks was especially eye-opening. Thank you once again. As we come to the conclusion of today's sessions, I want to express my deepest gratitude to all our esteemed speakers for their time, knowledge, and dedication to this important cause. Your contributions today will help us take significant strides towards a more inclusive, accessible, and understanding the world for learners in general and with specific learning disabilities. A big thank you to everyone who have joined us on this first day of SAMAGRA 2025. We hope today's discussions have sparked new ideas and will lead to meaningful actions in the field of education for children with diverse learning needs. As we look forward to tomorrow, we are excited for the rich conversations and sessions that will lie ahead. Let us continue to work together to create holistic, inclusive learning pathways for every child, regardless of their challenges. Thank you once again, and see you tomorrow for the second and final day of SAMAGRA 2025. Have a wonderful evening ahead. Thank you.